In today's video, I'm going to give you my top 10 comic book movies. So, there's going to be some that you think are in the top 10 that I didn't put in there. So, let me know in the comments before or after the video, what is your top 10 comic book movies of basically all time? And yeah, let's have a good discussion. And without further ado, I'm going to try and limit this one down and not speak too much about the movies individually. And I'm going to try and keep it close to the between 10 and 15 minute mark. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Alrighty, first off, we're going to start off with number 10, and it is going to be Captain America Civil War. Now, do I need to say much more about it? No, not really, because it is a fantastic film. The Russo brothers deliver. The cast, everyone is basically there, except for Thor and all that. But, you know, the relationship between Tony and Captain America is really pushed to the limits. And I like the dynamic that the Russos did with that, how they actually created the plot line throughout the whole thing about Steve Rogers knows this secret about Tony and his parents, and he never wanted to tell him that, and they go throughout. Tony then eventually learns of it, and then boom, you have the big breakout, the big fight where they split up. I mean, it's just a great comic book movie. The action sequences are brilliant. The car chase is brilliant with Black Panther, Steve Rogers, and the Winter Soldier. It's all brilliant. I mean, what more can you say? So Civil War, it had to be in the top 10, and it comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is going to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now, if you've seen my review on it, then you know that I absolutely adore this film. This film is fantastic. The Miles Morales character is brilliant. There's the father-son element throughout the whole movie is just, it is gripping, it is emotional. That scene where you've got the door, Miles is on the one side in his bedroom and his dad's speaking through the other side, trying to talk to him, and that is very powerful. This is a great, they don't dismiss Peter Parker at all. They don't, make him bad to push. What I'm basically trying is they don't lower Peter Parker and trash him to make Miles Morales look better. But what they do is they actually have him still on par, and they use him as the guider, the master to help Miles get through his adventure to learn how to be Spider-Man. And it was a great take. They didn't diminish that character of Peter Parker. They made him even better. And, he had his own arc as well as Miles. And the way they got all the Spider-Man into the one movie. I mean, can we get a sequel? Please give us a sequel. But coming in number 9 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Coming in number 8 is going to be X-Men 2. Now, I'm going to start off with this. X-Men 2, the start. The first scene with Nightcrawler could be potentially the best comic book or best opening ever to a movie, where he says through the White House to get to the president is absolutely brilliant. This movie, it follows the X-Men as they continue on after what Magneto did in the first one, and I tell you what, the way that they do it with the human character as the bad guy, trying to use Professor X, Xavier, to actually destroy all the mutants, was a brilliant plot line. Wolverine's in there trying to figure out how did I do all this? What's my origin and all that? And he finds out that actually the main villain of the film is actually the person responsible for him having all his metal claws and all the metal running through him. So that was another interesting plot line. Then you've got this love triangle between Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean Grey, which it was, she wants to be with Wolverine, but wants to be with Cyclops, but that's so good. And when she sacrifices herself, it is emotional. But when Magneto comes in, absolutely, Magneto is one of the greatest villains of all time. He just comes in and he's got his plan. Him and Mystique have the plan, and they know what they have to do to get there. And that's what makes it so good, is you've got this other plan, and he executes his plan, gets Charles to actually start hurting the humans until they obviously stop it. But then Magneto's free, and he's freed himself, and that was just brilliant. So X-Men 2 comes in for me in this spot. Coming in at number 7 is going to be Thor Ragnarok. Now this take, Ty Wawicki, I think it is, or something, his take on Thor this is best Thor, but I mean, Thor 1 is brilliant. I absolutely love that. I think it's a very underrated comic book movie. Probably the second most underrated comic book movie of all time. But Thor Ragnarok is so good. The colours, the story, it's basically Planet Hulk in there as well. And this version of Thor is so good. You know, he loses his hammer, he thinks he's lost everything, he lost his father. And you got the Loki and Thor dynamic going through the movie again, and that's just, it's always good to see Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston do that. That was brilliant. But you get the sci-fi element, and then you figure out Thor and Loki can actually not defeat their sister, and then they realise it's not about preventing it, it's causing Ragnarok. And that was a good line where they summon him up and he takes down Hela. But other than that, I mean, it's a fantastic film. It's fun, funny, and just, it's perfect. So it comes in at this spot for me. Coming in at number 6 is going to be X-Men Days of Future Past. Now, let me start off with saying, if you're going to do a time travel movie, watch this one. X-Men Future Days of Past is perfect, where they send Wolverine back in time to try and change it. Obviously, the Fox continuity doesn't make sense with all the X-Men's and that. It changes all the time, but they don't care. But this movie is fantastic. You get all the old characters with the new cast, the old cast and new cast, and then they gel. And Hugh Jackman does another fantastic job with Wolverine. And the story is so good, where they have to stop Mystique from killing someone that wants to hurt the mutants, and she feels like she has to kill him. And then you got the Magneto plotline, he's basically like, look man, they don't care about us mutants, so I'm going to take him down. And again, another reason why Magneto's so good, because he's so driven about, look, the humans don't care about us, we have to stop them. And that final scene where Mystique actually shoots Magneto in the neck to stop him from doing it, to change everything, is brilliant. But this is how you do a time travel stuff. You know, they change everything in the future, and it's a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. X-Men Days of Future Past comes in at this number, and it's brilliant. Just go check it out. I guarantee you'll be absolutely amazed at this movie. Coming in at number 5 is gonna be Avengers Infinity War. Wow, let me just say this, Russo brothers delivered. I mean, I never thought in my lifetime, well, not like this time, maybe in like 20, 30 years we would, but I never thought I'd get one like this, an Avengers movie where I actually, with all this cast, and you believe Thanos is actually real. Like, that's how good the CGI, that's how good it is, and the story with Thanos is just, no wonder why he is one of the most, he would have to be up in the top in the conversation with greatest villain of all time. I mean, obviously you're gonna have your Darth Vaders and that up there. I think he's in the top 5 easily, and it is so good the way they ended it with the snap, and now leading into Endgame. But you also have Captain America and Tony Stark go through their arcs again. Cap's got to deal with, oh crap, well I actually lost, and Tony is trying to deal with his emotion, his PSTD. He's dealing with that, and he's trying to, he's realised Thanos is the reason behind everything, and he's trying to deal with that. And you've got all these plotlines, the Gamora plotline, and it all 12s in. They didn't go overboard, and it was getting to the point where there was almost too much, but they didn't put too much in. And I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone loves Infinity War, and they can't wait for Endgame. But Infinity War comes in at number 5 for me. Coming in at number 4 is what I think is the most underrated comic book movie of all time, Man of Steel. Now, Henry Cavill is so good as Superman. He's my favourite Superman, and I love this Man of Steel origin story. It is so good, with the flashbacks, with him discovering what he's supposed to do, why is he here, and I just love his relationship with his father, and especially that one scene with a tornado where he puts his hand up and says, "Don't come save me, son. They're not ready to see you." That was so heartfelt, and you just think to yourself, wow, he's willing to sacrifice himself to keep his son safe because he knows the world's not ready to see him. And you've got the fight scenes, you've got everything you want in a Superman movie. I think it's a fantastic movie. It's so emotional. And I'm just so gutted they never made a second of it. And I hope Henry stays on. I'm waiting for him to announce that he stays on or if he's gone. It'll be a bummer if he goes, but Man of Steel is the most underrated comic book movie, and it comes in at number 4 for me. Alrighty, we're coming into the top 3, and we're going to start off with number 3, which is going to be Spider-Man. This is the one with Tobey Maguire, and for me, this is really when things really took off. This is when the comic book genre took off, was when XMen and Spider-Man come out. And this Spider-Man, this is a brilliant origin story. This is the best Spider-Man origin story that they've done so far. I mean, it's so good. Tobey Maguire's good in it. And I think William Dafoe is so good as the Green Goblin. Compelling. It's just brilliant. The dynamic between Harry, Peter, and Norman Osborn is so good. Like, they got that triangle. Harry wants MJ. Peter wants MJ, but he knows he can't, because if he does, then his enemies are going to attack. And it's just so good as an origin story where he learns his powers, how to use them for good. And then when he finds out that Norman Osborn is actually behind the Green Goblin mask, it's sad, because he knows he wants to help him, but you just can't, because he's aggressive. He's got the aggression coming through, and it's so good. This original Spider-Man is good. Some people say the second one's better. I think the first one's better personally, but you know, that's the subjective of film. You know, everyone has different opinions. So coming in at number 3 is Spider-Man. Alrighty, coming in at number 2 is probably the best origin story of a comic book movie I've watched, and it is Batman Begins. Christopher Nolan, oh my god, like, his Dark Knight trilogy is so good. Batman Begins is so good. I mean, I recently rewatched it and I forgot just how good it is. It is so good as an origin story. To see Bruce Wayne go away, come back, and realise, I can stop all this, I can fix this, and Liam Neeson is so good as the bad guy, as the villain in this. He's got an agenda. He's going to make Gotham burn because it's just polluted with evil, bad people. And Bruce sees it as different. He sees that I can stop the evil, bad people while keeping the good people safe. And he doesn't see that. Liam Neeson's character, Ra's al Ghul, doesn't see that. He says, no, I've got to purify this place. I've got to just destroy it. And you see the struggle that Bruce Wayne goes through to think, look, I failed myself. And then you got Alfred coming in. I mean, come on, Alfred is just... Everyone loves Alfred. I mean, he is just so good. He's there when they come down the elevator and says to him, look, mate, why do we fall? And then he just looks and he's like, oh my god, like... And then he's like, you got to pick you, because we can pick ourselves back up. And he's like, you've never given up on me, Alfred. And he's like, never. Oh, that is just, it just hurts my heart now, just hearing Alfred say that. It's brilliant. If you haven't seen Batman Begins, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but it's the greatest comic book origin story of all time. So it's a must check it out, and it comes in at number 2 for me. And we've reached number 1. What is number 1 going to be? It's going to be The Dark Knight Rises. Maybe. I mean, that's a fantastic film. Hits you emotionally with the Alfred stuff at the end. Could it be? Oh, I don't know. Winter Soldier's another good shout. Aquaman, maybe. No, it's not. It's going to be The Dark Knight. I mean, come on, people. Like, The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan's second one. Heath Ledger's Joker. I don't think I need to say any more. That's it. I'm done. Video over. Check it out. Nah, but in all seriousness... Come on, guys. Like, The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger is just absolutely unbelievable in this movie. Oh my god, he's just so good as the Joker. He's, like, the whole concept of him is not... He doesn't want to go one-on-one with Batman. He's like, I need you, Batman. I need you, because without you, I can't do what I do. And the way that he makes Gotham have to choose, but he's got a backup plan just in case, and when he turns Harvey Dent into Two-Face... and makes him, you know, the White Knight turn evil to destroy him all. It's just like, wow. And Heath Ledger delivers as he... Oh, it's definitely an Oscar-worthy performance for sure. Christian Bale's good as well. I mean, the whole storyline is great. You know, Bruce Wayne's... You know, he knows that Gotham needs a hero, but he doesn't think that Batman is going to be... needs to be there basically anymore, and they need a face, and that was what Harvey Dent was. And you have the plotline, and then when Harvey turns bad and he's got to save Jim Gordon's son, and he does it, and then he puts himself and says, "Look, mate, they can't know about this. He has to be. You can't let the Joker win. He has to be the White Knight. He has to be the hero. Say I did it." And he takes it upon himself, locks himself away for ages. As you get into The Dark Knight Rises, you understand. But The Dark Knight is just, for me, it's the best comic book movie ever made so far. And it's going to be hard to top. It really is. Endgame could do it. That's my pick that could possibly beat it. But for me, The Dark Knight is easily number one. Let me know in the comments what is your favourite comic book movies. And yeah, without further ado, people, you have yourselves a good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world. You just have yourselves a good day. Keep smiling, and I'll see you guys in the next video.